Buso Renkin of the Samurai Sword, Sword Samurai X!
Dude, what on earth are you doing?
It's just a move from a recent anime I was watching.
Tell me more of this anime, Buso Renkin?
I might as well, I am reviewing on animes on a Monday now.
The supernatural alloy, produced by gathering together the very essence of alchemy, is the Kakugane. This device activates upon a person's fighting instinct, manifesting the possessor's inner power into a tangible form, creating a weapon like no other. Its name, the Buso Renkin. Hey guys, it's J-Man Productions, here to start doing anime reviews again, and this time this will be for me reaching 900 subscribers, so thank you guys. And this anime review will be on a series I picked up recently which I really enjoyed, Buso Renkin. Before I start the review, quickly I just want to give you a bit of a background onto how I got into Buso Renkin. Randomly one day on Amazon I was just searching around for animes I might buy in the future, and one of them that popped up was Buso Renkin. I actually did a bit of background research about this anime and who the mangaka for the original source material was and stuff like that, and I found out that it was Nobuo Watsuki. If you're not familiar with Watsuki's work, he actually did Rurouni Kenshin, a really highly regarded anime and manga series, and I recently watched Rurouni Kenshin this year and really thoroughly enjoyed it, so I thought I might as well take a blind buy and buy Buso Renkin. So let me tell you my thoughts on it in this review. Buso Renkin is a 26 episode anime series done by Ebec Studios, who have also done such animes as Shaman King, Mega Man NT Warrior and DN Angel. The series' original run started from 2006, and the genres for this series are action and supernatural. The plot begins with average high school student Kazuki Muto, who is just going about having a normal day until he sees a girl being attacked by a mysterious monster. He actually goes out then to try and save her, and actually gets killed in an instant in the first episode. Oh my god, Yu Yu Hakusho references, let's kill him! Before you Yu Yu Hakusho fans come at me with a pitchfork and saying this is a rip-off, let me explain the rest. Kazuki then, when he wakes up, he realises that he was in his dorm room and that all of this was a dream, but later on in the day he meets Tokiko, and Tokiko explains to him that that wasn't a dream and he was actually attacked by what she calls a homunculus. The homunculus are these evil monsters who are out to just kill and eat humans. Tokiko explains to him that the only way to defeat them is by wielding a Kakugane, which unleashes a Buso Renkin, and the way that Kazuki is still living is that she emplaced a Kakugane in his body, acting as his heart, and that it's her job to kill all of these homunculus. Later on in the episodes, Kazuki just finds himself in a situation where he has to use this Buso Renkin, and he actually does. His Buso Renkin is a big lance called the Sunlight Heart, and he finds himself in a situation where he just has to try and kill a homunculus, even though he's weak and very inexperienced. Eventually, the story goes like this. Kazuki feels that he has a responsibility now that he has a Kakugane in his heart, and he has to use it to try and save the people around him who might be attacked by the homunculus. The series is in an overarching sort of nature, so it's not episodic at all, and the story somewhat reminds me of how Bleach was, because you had Ichigo, who was introduced to the world of the Shinigami and the Soul Reapers by Rukia, and he had to take up the role of being a Soul Reaper, but he was sort of somewhat forced to do it because he took Rukia's powers. But in this one, it's sort of like Kazuki gets the Kakugane, even though it was somewhat forced into him because he had to. That was his only way of surviving. But Tokiko actually says to him, you can return to your normal life, you can do what you want, I don't want to get you involved. She says this many times to him, but Kazuki actually takes it upon himself to go forth and try and kill these homunculus who might put his city and put his friends in danger. In terms of animation, I think Ebec Studios does a really great job for this show. It's always fluid, the fight scenes were always animated well. I actually really like the way they they actually stayed true to the art style that was in the manga for the series. I have the manga right here, and they actually sort of stayed true to that. The musical scores that they used were really great, and I'll annotate you to and link you to one of my favorite musical scores in the series, which is a very heroic theme for Kazuki. So go and check that out in your spare time if you want to. So just animation, musical scores were great. The opening, really awesome opening. I really like that opening. It's just a great opening. The animation for it is great. It highlights a lot of the key characters in the show, and it doesn't have it doesn't have spoilers at all. It just highlights the main character of the show, keeping some things in the mystery. The song for it is amazing. Opening one is just great. Ending one is really great. It grew on me. At first I didn't like it that much, but it really grew on me as the show went on. But ending two, I hate ending 2 because I hate this character in the series called Papillon. Papillon's gay. I don't care. If you're a Papillon fan, you must have problems because Papillon is sick and disturbed and he should be killed. I actually watched the dub for this series, and the dub was done by Viz Media, and I really like the dub, and I'm just going to take some time to talk about the voice actors because I think they do a great job, and I think sometimes the English voice actors aren't appreciated enough because they don't even get paid that much to do a job that is probably not as easy as it looks. So one of the voice actors was Tara Platt, who does Tokiko, one of the main characters of the series. She also does Tamari in Naruto, and I think she did a great job as Tokiko. Captain Bravo, who's played by Patrick Seitz, who's also the voice of Frankie in One Piece, and Ishin, who is Ichigo's dad in Bleach. There was Chris Smith, who did Moonface. This is one of my favourites, Kelly Lake, who actually, he's got such a great range. I really like this guy. He played 2 characters in the show, Angel Gozen, and he played Dr. Butterfly. And this guy also does Jiraiya from Naruto. I mean, Jiraiya is awesome. And he also did Kenpachi in Bleach, which is one of the better characters in Bleach, and one of the better characters that shouldn't be in such a crappy show, in my opinion. Well, it was good at the start, but you know, it went downhill. There's also characters like Richard Strawberry Jr. I know, weird name, but he does Shizui, and he does a really great job as Shizui, because Shizui is like this badass character, and he really portrays him well. There's Karen Streisman, who plays Mahiro. Mahiro's like Kazuki's younger sister, but she's kind of annoying, and she does a great job portraying that sort of character. And there's Carl Hibbert, who does Hitari. Chizuse is played by Deborah Sale Butler. Sorry for me butchering these names. David Paulson does Sakaguchi. And the main character done by Steve Staley, who is he plays Kazuki. Kazuki's voice actor actually does Neji and Toshiro, and Neji from Naruto obviously, and Toshiro from Bleach. Gotar, who's played by Liam O'Brien, actually does a really awesome job, and he actually does one of my favourite voices of all time. He does Gaara in Naruto. So all of these voice actors, I know I spent like 2.5 minutes on them, but done a really kick-ass job, and I really like the dub for this series. Now I'm going to take time to talk about the characters. You have your main character, Kazuki Muto, who is sort of similar to the main shonen sort of character, but I don't know, Kazuki slightly different. You have to actually watch him, because Kazuki, yeah, he instantly clings towards what he sees was right, and I mean, he had a choice to go back to his normal life, but he just says, no, I want to do what's right. But at the same time, there was something that made him stand apart from the rest of the shonen characters, who are always daring and always think they can do what's right. At one point in his show, he's like, if I'm going to protect everyone, who's going to protect me? And you saw that sort of vulnerability in his character, which I thought was quite great. Yeah, Tokiko, who's the female lead, my favourite character of the series, just a strong female who gets straight to business. Her goal is to just extinguish all of the homunculus out there, and she just wants to get straight to business. I mean, if you look at her in the back, she has this scar on her face, and you find she has a sort of dark past that you have to find out about. But you see her go through such a great character growth from, I don't want to spoil anything, but I think she goes for the greatest character growth in the series, and it's just great to see females that aren't there in the background and are more passive. It's great to see the females that will just go out there and get straight to business and not worry about anything else. You have Kozaku Chono, or Papillon, who's one of the main villains in the series, not the main villain, but one of them. I'm gonna admit, while I hate this character and despise him, and I think he's the gayest character on earth, I've gotta admit that he goes through a great bit of character development, and his backstory is sort of sad, so he's quite a good character to have in this series. There are also some side characters like Kazuki's sister and her friends, and Kazuki's friends as well. I mean, these characters are okay to have in the series, and I think some people would call them sort of throwaway characters because they don't do that much in terms of the main story, but I think it's essential to have them there. I'm referencing Bleach again, but Bleach had those sort of side characters in there. You had Keigo, Totsuki, all of the high school kids, and they played their role in the series similar to the way in this sort of shorter series the high school kids don't do that much, but they play an essential role there just to act as support to the main leading characters that are Tokiko and Kazuki to push them forward. You have Captain Bravo, who's sort of the macho man of the series, and Gota, who one of my second favourite character, who sort of has a thing for Tokiko. But what I like about Gota is that his Buso Renkin is these sort of weird Indian ornated weapons, basically, that they're called Buso Renkin of the Chakram, and it's just weird that these sort of spinning discs, but they're really cool that the way he uses them, because Gota's Buso Renkin is actually the weakest, but Gota had to use his sort of wits to outsmart his opponents, sort of similar to the way Shikamaru works. So he has different forms for these Buso Renkin. One of them is just like him using them as knuckle dusters. There's one where he uses them as roller skates. He finds really inventive ways to use these just two spinning discs that in the hands of someone else would probably be useless. There are the Hayasaka twins, who actually, for me, those are my favourite group of episodes, the Hayasaka twins mini arc, where you have Oko and Shizui being the badass and Oka being just like this, playing this caring sisterly role. They're a great group of characters. There's Hiratari. There is just so many great characters in there, and pretty great villains, because there's this corporation called the LXE, which acts as the evil sort of corporation that Kazuki and all of the rest of the alchemist army have to sort of battle out. It just, I really think there's a great diverse group of characters that every person that's watching this series can cling to at least one of them. Now it's time for me to critique Buso Renkin. Honestly, I think Buso Renkin's a good series, because I did point out it takes elements from other series. There's the whole alchemy thing, which has been done by the Fullmetal Alchemist series, and there's the fact that Kazuki dies in the first episode, which is similar to Yoshiro Togashi's work in Yu Yu Hakusho, where Yusuke dies in the first episode. And I did draw a few parallels to Bleach in there, back when Kubo was actually a decent mangaka. But anyway, I feel it does take a few elements from those series, but it's really creative with what it does. And nowadays, I think that's what mangakas need to have. I mean, you can have original ideas, like Bakuman, pretty original ideas. Same with Toriko, the whole food element, I thought was a really original idea. But those ideas are becoming less and less, because I feel like every story has been told at least 50 times. There are a few odd exceptions, like I just mentioned. So I feel the key is being creative, and I think Nobuo Ratsuki, when he was writing the manga, was very creative with the way he used his ideas, because yeah, Kazuki dies in the first episode, but it's dealt with in a different way than what happened with Yusuke. The alchemy thing is taken in a whole entirely different route. Whenever did you see Ed and Al pull out a Kakugane? I mean, it does it in such a different style and different execution, which I really enjoyed. I think that there's a really great diverse group of characters in this series. My favourite being Tokiko, just great strong female lead. There's Shizui, who is part of the Hayasaka twins. Shizui is just a pure badass, and his sword Buso Renkin, his sword Samurai X. I just love that Buso Renkin. And one of the great things about this series is each Buso Renkin has a special property. Like Kazuki's lance is like, his special ability for that is that it can do, the cloth in it actually emits energy. So if you played that old school Sega Genesis game, Rocket Knight Adventure, where the character can just spring from left to right really fast because of the energy, it's sort of like that. He uses that energy to thrust forward, and often he will say "pass forward, my Buso Renkin." It's funny, but there is like Shusui's Buso Renkin, Soul Samurai X, that can actually all energy attacks, it can actually absorb it and then use that energy against the opponent. I think that's a really cool gimmick to have in there, and you can just attach yourself to at least one of the characters in the series because they're so diverse and have their different qualities. Like Gota using these wits a lot. There's Hirotari, who is just, Hirotari's pissed off a lot. He tries to act calm, but he's pissed off a lot. There's Captain Bravo, who's, I think, was just funny most of the series. Just really great, diverse group of characters, and just the story's done well. The pacing never slows down in this anime. I never felt an episode where it's slow, and I always enjoyed myself at every minute that I watched this anime. I'm gonna give Buso Renkin a B, because it's just, a B for me is a good anime, and Buso Renkin is the definition of a good short shonen anime. If you just wanna sit back and relax and just watch a nice short shonen anime, Buso Renkin would probably be the one I'll throw to you, because it has got everything you need. A great diverse group of characters, a decent storyline that gets you just carrying on with the series, great pacing, and it's funny. I mean, some of these episodes made me laugh out loud, but I hate Papillon. I hate Papillon. Just don't be turned off by Papillon. And one of the reasons why it isn't up there and it doesn't get any higher than the Beast, the fact that some scenes were a bit too light-hearted, I felt, and the fact that it's not totally original as well, and it could have been a longer series because there was so much potential to do a few more things with the characters that I felt that weren't touched. Anyway, this has been J-Man's Productions on the Jzone with an anime review for Buso Renkin, and live and learn, good luck and God bless, until next time, I'll splatter your guts! Is a joke from the series, and I realise a lot of you probably haven't seen the series and you're probably looking at me in dismay and you probably click the X button, but this is odd. Awkward silence for the awkward settle. Peace.